Ancient Japan hid things so dark they still hit different today. And people worldwide get shook hearing them, but the real truth behind these stories will seriously haunt you. Across villages and castles, everyday people lived under rules that sound insane now. Yet sources suggest these practices shaped life for centuries, and the reason why will shock you deeply. You are about to hear about living pillars, abandoned infants, and monks chasing death. But the real twist is how all these horrors connect into one system. These are not legends or anime plots. They are reportedly real events written by travelers and records. And once you see the pattern, history feels way darker. Let me show you exactly how this went down, step by step, starting with the world ancient people lived in, where fear, hunger, and honor ruled everything. Centuries ago, Japan was divided into regions ruled by lords and rigid codes, where survival mattered more than kindness, and tradition decided what people could do daily. There was no modern science or safety nets, so disasters were blamed on spirits and curses, making extreme actions feel logical to terrified communities facing floods, famine, and war. Power flowed downward hard, and common people paid the price with silence, obedience, and sometimes their lives, while resistance usually meant disappearing without explanation forever. Now here is where things get really interesting, because one ritual literally turned humans into construction material, something known as Histora according to old records. Sources suggest people were buried alive beneath bridges or castles, believed to calm spirits and prevent disasters, which is absolutely wild to imagine even briefly. Picture workers stacking stones above, chanting prayers, while someone trapped below hears everything, knowing their death is meant to protect strangers they will never meet. If you think that is crazy, wait until you hear this, because another practice decided whether newborn babies even got a chance to live during famine years. This practice was called mabiki, a desperate survival response where families allegedly killed infants to ensure others had enough food to survive harsh seasons. It sounds brutal now, but when crops failed repeatedly, parents were forced to think in numbers, not feelings. According to several historical sources, I will explain why this kept happening soon, but notice the pattern. Fear creates rules. Rules become tradition, and tradition excuses cruelty. Plot twist. Not everyone followed normal paths, because some monks chose an extreme route, slowly killing themselves to reach enlightenment through self-mummification rituals. These monks starved themselves, poisoned their bodies, and dried out over years, believing death would turn them into living Buddhas protecting communities spiritually. Villagers watched with fear and respect, hoping these sacrifices would bring health, safety, or good harvests, even as bodies turned into relics. But wait, punishments were also brutal, including ishikozun, where criminals were buried and stoned publicly as warnings to everyone watching closely. Crowds gathered for these executions, turning terror into control, making sure people obeyed rules without question or resistance. Daily life meant watching every word and movement, because one accusation could end your life instantly, with no trial or mercy offered. Even warriors lived under harsh expectations, trained from childhood to value loyalty, honor, and violence above personal safety or compassion. Some sources described tsujijiri, where swords were tested on random travelers, rare but terrifying for anyone walking roads at night. Imagine heading home peacefully, knowing someone might kill you just to prove a blade works correctly. This brings us closer to the real shock, because none of this was random chaos. These acts were part of a system designed to keep order during scarcity, disasters, and constant power struggles between regions and leaders. Fear, hunger, and authority combined into rules that normalized sacrifice, punishment, and suffering for the sake of stability. According to historians, these methods reduced chaos short-term, but created deep trauma passed quietly through generations. So what does this mean today, because modern societies still trade freedom for safety when fear shows up? History shows people everywhere accept terrible things when leaders frame them as protection or survival. Ancient Japan is not just scary history, it is a mirror reflecting what humans do under extreme pressure. Before we move on, remember this pattern, because it explains everything else you are about to hear next. The scariest part is realizing these systems worked, at least for a while, which proves how easily fear can override empathy anywhere. When people believe survival is at stake, almost any action can feel justified, especially when authority and tradition back it up. That is why these practices lasted generations, becoming normalized instead of questioned, even when suffering was obvious to everyone involved. Now think about today, because fear still drives decisions during crises, pushing societies toward extreme rules and sacrifices. The past is not distant, it quietly repeats itself when people stop questioning power. Ancient Japan shows how quickly morality bends when survival feels uncertain, and that lesson matters now more than ever. This is why studying disturbing history matters, not for shock value, but to recognize warning signs early. When leaders demand sacrifice without accountability, history suggests ordinary people usually pay the highest price. The living pillars, abandoned infants, and brutal laws all point to the same truth. Systems do not become cruel overnight. They slide there step by step. Here is the final twist. The people involved were not monsters. They were humans making impossible choices under pressure. That realization is uncomfortable because it means anyone could repeat these actions under similar conditions. Fear does not erase humanity, it distorts it, turning survival into justification for harm. This is why empathy must be protected most during hard times, not abandoned. History's darkest moments are warnings, not entertainment. If this opened your eyes, stay with me, because understanding the past helps protect the future we all share. We covered sacrifices, survival choices, brutal justice, and honor-based violence shaping entire societies. Each story connects into one system driven by fear, authority, and desperation. The big takeaway is simple. Question rules born from panic and power. Protect compassion when times get rough, because losing it costs more later. If you want more real history told straight, cinematic, and honest, hit like and subscribe. Share this with someone who loves dark history and deep lessons. Drop a comment telling which part shocked you the most. Next time, we explore another forgotten chapter where power and survival collide hard. Until then, remember these stories are warnings, not myths. Stay curious, stay critical, and never stop questioning authority when fear runs the room. History only repeats when people forget it. Thanks for watching and supporting thoughtful storytelling. Like, subscribe, and share.